What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today we're gonna keep on talking about the cast of Guilty Gear, and we're gonna return to the lower end of the cast and talk about my longtime main, Millia Rage. This character has a pretty interesting story. Like, on release, a lot of people were saying she was one of the worst characters in the game, basically just from trying them. There was a lot of back and forth about ease of accessibility of things that the characters have. I'm from games where a lot of characters that are strong were characters you didn't realize they were strong right away. So I was kind of just like, hey, let's hold off. She has like these good things. It did turn out that she did have some problems despite her strengths. But despite her flaws, she has had some good results in tournament. Not really any major wins. Probably the most notable ones. Not trying to gas myself up a little bit, but I did get 4th at EVO 2021, the online EVO with Millia, and in hindsight, I would say she is definitely worse than she is right now. Right now, I think she's like okay. As usual, we'll start positive and we'll look at her pros first and then her cons. So first comes from her mobility. She's super fast. She's one of the fastest characters in the entire game. So she has a very fast run, a fast backdash. While her backdash is lacking as far as invincibility, it is 16 frames total. So basically by the time you see her complete that backdash, she's already acting again. She acts the fastest out of her air dash out of all the characters at 13 frames, where if I did her and Soul at the same time, you could see a clear difference in speed. And she also has special cancelable movement options in both Mirage, which these are a little bit more niche, you don't use these in neutral too much, along with Capel, but also in Turbo Fall, which you see quite often. She also has very good anti-air, as in she is good at stopping people from anti-airing her. So where a typical 5k or 6p would just hit her very easily here, if you used Capel, you are able to go into a full combo. Turbofall also helps because it alters her air momentum quite a bit. She pauses for a little bit and then moves. This can make it so that certain anti-airs will end up whiffing if you time it correctly. Jump Heavy is a pretty good jump in. At a glance, it looks normal, but the main thing is that it has a really big hitbox behind it, which is not that common for this game. If you take Soul, for example, it's pretty hard to hit a character when you overshoot them. Where between Millia's short air dash and the jump H, it's pretty easy for her to do this. She also has a strong mix-up game, both with meter and without meter. So the standard one you've probably seen is 2K2D into H-Disc. But of course she has Bad Moon, which makes it so that characters can't like use defensive techniques to block her mix-up and block strings. And situationally, she has setups where while she's not covering herself with a disc, she can still attack from the front or behind. With meter, her mix-up becomes very threatening because Bad Moon can be not only confirmed into a combo on hit, but also you can use fast RC to get a better combo plus 2 mix-up opportunities. You can also do this with the hair car as well, where she jumps up the ground, which is visually confusing for opponent, and do a similar type of mix-up. She's really good at using the new fast RC mechanic, both the slowdown part and the retaining your meter part. Also, she has surprisingly large normals and ability to control space considering the type of character she is. Generally, these fast characters, their main advantage is that they are fast, and so they can just pull up on you right away. But Millia can attack at ranges where people aren't used to fast characters attacking from. Buttons like Far Slash, attacks like her S-Disc, and the size of her 2K, which is actually quite large, 2K and 5K are quite large moves, combined with her speed, can be pretty hard for an opponent to deal with. Finally, she's quite strong in positive bonus. Her throw becomes way scarier as she's able to build meter extremely quickly in this state. Now, let's look at her downsides, her cons. So one, and this is one of the biggest ones, she maintains her legacy flaws from previous Guilty Gear games. So her HP modifier is bad, for example. So here's an example of Millia's typical B&B on herself. Where she takes a little bit over 50% off this starter. Where if I do the same combo to Kyle, it does significantly less damage. Kyle to me is basically the line of average health in the game. In addition, she builds risk faster than other characters as well. So this is Kyle's 6H. It's an attack level 4 move, so it has the most block stun, and it builds a lot of risk meter. The more risk meter you have, the more damage you take, so it's pretty important to not let your risk build too high. You can stop your risk meter from building by either fighting your way out straight up, or using faultless defense to stop your risk gauge from going up. So here, my risk gauge does not go up because I spent meter. Millia's 5H is also attack level 4. So it builds like just at the edge of the U in the burst icon. When she does it to herself, you can see it's like in the middle of the R. So she actually builds risk faster than other characters. So typically in Guilty Gear, the faster your character is, the less meter they gain from moving around the screen. So you can see Millia, she's building meter okay. But then also, just like the way she plays and the hits she's fishing for, don't generally lead to a lot of meter either. Because for the most part, you're getting like this type of hit, or like this type of hit, or like a throw. Where other characters, not only will they build more meter for moving around the screen. So for example, I have Baiken, my new main here. So we're going to compare how fast it takes for them running at each other to get 50 meter. So she's going to backdash, 3, 2, 1, go! I think Millia had a little bit of a head start, but you can see the difference that Baiken is gaining significantly more meter than Millia. She's going to get 50 meter now. Millia, you got to chill for a while longer, and then you'll get it. This kind of comes from, though, that Baiken is not a fast character by any means. She's not slow, but not fast. Where Millia is really, really fast. So they tend to not like fast characters getting meter really quickly for moving forward. Other characters, you know, the way they confirm into things also gives them a lot of meter. Where like Baiken's jump in gives her not just a lot of meter, but also you have the potential to break the wall if you want, which is immediate access to positive. You can't do this so easily with Millia, which means her access to meter is generally lower than other characters. Previous versions of Guilty Gear, there were 25 meter options. So Exit, for example, has YRC for 25 meter for the entire cast. And then XX, so ACR for people who are playing right now, they have FRCs. So those are 25 meter cancel options that you have, as well as EX moves called Force Breaks, also for 25 meter. Guilty Gear Strive is balanced around getting 50 meter. So while the meter penalty was fine in previous games because there were 25 meter options, in this game you don't have one. You have to get 50 meter before you have access to your stronger options. She also is in the group of characters that have a small throw range. This is another legacy thing. So to compare Nagoriyuki, I have him positioned here for a throw. He has the largest throw. Him, Potemkin, Gold Lewis, they all have large throws. Where Millia, I will never, ever, ever be able to throw him from that range. Where Nagoriyuki can do this very comfortably. I kept the recording from Nagoriyuki because you'd be like, alright, that's fine. Big body, big throw, we get it. But what about normal characters? The standard throw will not reach from this range, right? That's some esports. That's esports distance. Now, despite that, you know, this is an average throw range where Millia still cannot reach. The only characters in the game that have this throw range are Millia, Chip, and Geo. It is not a big deal most of the time. It mostly matters in scrambles and in some specific instances on defense, but not being able to use it in those positions on defense is a big deal. And last, she gets in danger penalty very quickly. So danger is not actually a penalty. It's a warning to let you know that you're about to get negative penalty. When you get into negative penalty, you lose your meter instantly. As mentioned before, meter is really important in Guilty Gear, so losing your meter quickly like this really, really sucks. This is in a lot of ArcSys games. ArcSys games encourage you to be aggressive, and they're really cautious about making characters that have high mobility able to run away too much because they're really hard to catch. They do want you to engage with the character and not just like camp all day, which makes sense. The way she naturally plays neutral kind of lends into this, but the game doesn't really distribute this equally usually. There are characters that are able to retreat with attacks where the game won't give them the penalty. So for example, let's have Millia and Happy Chaos move at the same time. So for example, let's have Happy Chaos retreat first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? So he's able to retreat without the game really punishing him, where Millia, on the other hand, we are both retreating, but only one of us is getting punished for doing it. To be fair to Happy Chaos, by the way, he actually, from doing just backdash, gets it kind of at the same pace as Millia, but he has moves that count as attacks that enable him to retreat. Then next, she doesn't really have any burst options from a safe range. So what I mean is, sometimes I call it fuck it RC, or just like YOLO moves. You can call it whatever you want, but Millia doesn't really have anything she could lunge at you with from far very safely. As far as from a safe range, your best option is probably S-Disc PRC, but it's a little bit hard to confirm from max range. If you want to do like, I just want to force myself on you type of options, it usually involves you running directly at the opponent with your 2K, close slash, or gambling with IID jump H or IID capel. This all involves you running deep into the opponent. Versus other characters who are able to kind of just approach at their own pace. Again, S-Disc and Haircar are okay at these, but both of these have to be done from kind of like here, which is kind of like a standard range, but she can't do it from like really far like some characters can. And then last is she can't truly loop her win condition in a good ideal way, in a damaging way that helps you win quickly. So what do I mean? So she has 3 moves that hard knockdown essentially. So one is 2K2D, so any kick into 2D will do this. 2 would be comboing into Septum Voices. This gives you a very advantageous hard knockdown. And 3 would be comboing into Haircar. Throw is also included in this. If you hit them with your standard mix-up, you launch them. So once you launch them, how do you get another hard knockdown? You can't do 2D again because you're hitting them in the air, which gives you a soft knockdown. So you can't repeat the situation that way. So one of your options are to use Haircar. So Haircar though has 2 problems. One, the range where they're knocked down means that your disc probably won't reach and they'll be able to backdash on wake up. So using the same sequence again. This should be good. So there's problem number 1. There is a way to get close enough, of course. But the issue here is you don't really get the same type of knockdown that you got before. She has tricks she can use here, but they're not as strong as her normal 2K2D mix-up. A lot of Millia players opt to take to the air because this gives her a nice damaging combo into her reset, but the reset doesn't use the disc. So she has to move from low damage but great Oki into high for her damage into okay Oki over and over. Her throw does not give her enough advantage to do her standard mix-up, so you generally have to cover it with a safe jump into advantage to be fair. But the main thing is like she just is not really good at looping her mix-up the way she would be able to traditionally. A lot of people are like, well, it's fine, this game is not about like knockdown into mix, but other characters have been able to develop all sorts of plans between breaking the wall ASAP and then using their meter in order to just end the game. Happy Chaos is good at doing this, as he can enforce a checkmate situation after breaking the wall. Other characters have wall slump mix-ups they can do, so they will, instead of breaking the wall, they will just keep you at the wall. While the damage is low, they're building the meter they want to either end the round or break the wall super and then end your life there. And some characters just get their situation over and over off knockdowns. So Millia having this much variance is normal for Guilty Gear, but I wouldn't just say it's weaker compared to other versions. I think it's weaker in that while the opponent doesn't have like passive defensive stuff they could do like Blitz from Exerd, you don't get to use your strongest mix-up all the time, where in a lot of cases other characters do get to. And the biggest pain is that she's supposed to be the mix-up character and she doesn't get to do her best mix-up often. And finally, it's about return. So this is also what I felt like in Season 1. She has opportunities to do high damage, but on average her return is not that high, especially when you're trying to access her best offensive situation. So for example, if Happy Chaos gets this jump in from mid-screen, he's able to break the wall if he wants, wall slump if he wants, and if he has the resources he wants, he can break the wall with super. And then after this super, he could put you in a checkmate situation that I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with. Where he goes bang, 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 gets the meter, bang. We're all familiar with this. Where Millia's situations is like a lot of them is like, oh, I hit you with a kick, but this goes into good mix-up, which is nice. You finesse them with jump H somehow, and then you go into mix-up again. But a lot of these opportunities, it's like small damage that leads into average damage, that leads into small damage, that leads into average damage. Again, she does have the opportunity to do high damage off counter hits and frame traps. Let's take this knockdown situation where people actually do risk doing wake up third to Millia, where she has this move. This move is a very, very high damage starter for her. But these type of hits are not very common. So in the end, she's very mobile, but the system does kind of hold her down. The legacy flaws that she has are fair in the context of those games, but because there's not strong 25-meter options available, she definitely suffers from that regard. Plus, thanks to changes, the different system, and removing of certain moves, she has problems keeping her ideal situation in this game compared to other characters. Let me know what you guys think. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.